For pre-need funerals, burials, and cremations, that's Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. In obituary news on this Tuesday morning, Tammy Huckabee of Sylacauga died at her residence last night. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, will announce arrangements. That's funeral service for Mrs. Tammy Huckabee. Those arrangements will be announced later today. She lived here in Sylacauga, and Curtis & Son Funeral Home announcing. Mrs. Veerley Wilson passed away yesterday at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Funeral arrangements are pending. They'll be announced by Curtis & Son Funeral Home. Mrs. Wilson was the mother of Coosa County Sheriff Terry Wilson. And our thoughts and prayers to that family as funeral arrangements are incomplete. They'll be announced for Mrs. Veerley Wilson by Curtis & Son Funeral Home. Mrs. Louise Elizabeth Wells, age 78 of Sycamore, died Monday at her residence. Funeral service will be held Thursday at 2 p.m. from Curtis & Son North, with burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. The station Wednesday at the funeral home from 5 until 8 p.m. Online condolences at curtissonsonfh.com. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Funeral service for Sarah Strong Bailey, age 88 of Sylacauga, today at 2 o'clock from the chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home. Reverend James Woody Wooden officiating. Burial in the Green Hill Cemetery. Mrs. Bailey died February 24th at her residence. Visitation today, 12:30 till 2 at the funeral home. In lieu of flowers, donations can be made to the St. Andrew's United Methodist Church on U.S. Highway 280 in Sylacauga. Memorial messages can be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home, directing. Funeral service for Danny Michael Bullard, age 51 of Sylacauga, will be Wednesday, 1 p.m. March 1st at Radley Smith Funeral Home. Brother David Vick officiating. Burial at the Evergreen Cemetery. Mr. Bullard died Sunday, February 26th at his residence. And he graduated from B.B. Comer High School, where he played football and baseball. Wore the number 64 in football. The station today, 5:30 till 8 o'clock at the funeral home. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home, Sylacauga, directing. Funeral service for Mr. Michael Bailey, age 59, will be today at 2 o'clock from the chapel of Radley Funeral Home in Alexander City. Reverend Jamie Williams officiating. Burial in the Hillview Memorial Park. Mr. Bailey died Saturday, February 25th at his residence. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Funeral service for Mr. Michael Ray Mickey Bailey, age 59 of Alexander City, today at 2 o'clock from the chapel of Radley Funeral Home, directing. And funeral service for Mrs. Carrie Lee Walls Cheatham Vickers, age 79 of Alexander City, today at 12:30 from Alexander City Church of Christ. Minister James Cullins and Minister Chris Tidwell officiating. Burial in the Hillview Memorial Park. The family receiving friends today, 10:30 a.m. until 12:15 p.m. At the Alexander City Church of Christ. Mrs. Vickers died Sunday, February 26th. She was a member of the Alex City Church of Christ. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home, directing. And funeral service for Mr. Roy Moore, formerly of Sylacauga, will be on Friday at 3:30 from Curtis & Son North. The visitation on Friday, 2:30 to 3:30 at the North Chapel. Mr. Roy Moore, formerly of Sylacauga, Curtis & Son Funeral Home, directing that service. This obituary report brought to you by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. 256-245-4361. For pre-needs, funerals, burials, or cremations, it's Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.